this good morning, nasty morning. It's raining here. It's supposed to rain all day.
I don't think we got anybody from different country yet, do we?
I don't know. Anybody on here from a different country?
If you are, good evening.
Yeah.
Night, whatever. I don't know.
Whatever time it is. Good day. Excuse the backdrop noise. It's a toddler and a dog playing. Anyways.
What are we talking about?
Life update. We told you guys on the last video, which was the freeze warning video, which an update on that, we had some peppers, the peppers that were in the bed with just the plastic over them, over the entire bed, the ones that did not have boxes over them or the plastic freezer cups, they got bit. And did you check on them yesterday when you come in? So the last time I checked on them was the day before yesterday. Siri's listening to us. Those phones can be. Anyways, we don't think they're gonna make it, but thankfully,
I think it's about 10 or 12, I think.
okay, so thankfully it wasn't very many.
We got 50 others, 50, 60 more.
Yeah, we got 72. That day we went and got peppers, which also, in the last video, he said that we had a video that we needed to edit of us getting the peppers in the ground. I think we might have misled. I don't think that we videoed that, and there's a reason for that, and that's part of this reason for this video. It's part of an update. But anyways, so the day that we planted those peppers, we put 72 pepper plants, right? Yep. 72 pepper plants and 12 okra plants. Now, out of those 72 plants, not all of them are the same kind of pepper. There's sweet banana peppers, there's pepperoncinis.
Green bell pepper.
And, yeah,
chocolate bell pepper.
Most of them are green bell pepper.
Yeah. Yellow bell pepper.
There's just one of those. And 2 chocolate.
Sweet banana peppers. And,
I don't remember how many of them.
And pepperoncini.
Yeah, I don't remember how many of them. But my plan is, on the pepperoncini and the banana peppers, I'm gonna pickle both of those, can them. Because we both like the banana peppers, and myself and my mom really like the pepperoncinis. And then we didn't get I didn't even think that day that we went and got those to get jalapeno plants. We might get a couple, 3 of those, because my dad really likes those, and they are really good to put in salsa. If we get a good enough crop of tomatoes that I can some salsa, throw a jalapeno in just to give it a little bit of taste. Anyway, so first update. Like I said in the last video, there's some massive changes. A massive change that came to the homestead, and that is,
well, we've been forced into full-time homestead.
Yeah.
Well, we weren't forced into it, but this last job I had, because when I took it, I said, if anything ever happened to it, I didn't want to go work for nobody. I want to work for myself.
Well, not just that, but for a very long time now, it has been laid on both of our hearts to do this homesteading full time, for you to be home as much as possible. And Actually, and before we got the news that his job was not going to be coming back after all this quarantine stuff. Anyways, we had been discussing, we were like, you know, there again, weighing on our heart, both of us, you know, God was saying, this is what you're to do, and we were saying, wait a minute, on our own timeline, you know, yeah, we'll do it, but we're not quite ready to do it just yet. Not quite ready to say goodbye to a consistent, know that it's coming paycheck. Well, God said, child, I told you this is what you are to do. So, anyways, prior to getting the news, we were discussing, you know, maybe he could cut his hours at work and we could do some side jobs and to replace those hours cut, you know, and kind of slowly work our way into full-time homesteading.
Over here.
Without,
Over here.
without going gun-ho all at once. Then we got the call from his boss. The company that he worked for was a small business. So, as y'all know, small businesses are getting hit hard, really hard. Some of them really hard right now. Anyways, so he had to close 60%.
I don't know if he said he closed about 60% of the business.
And that he was included in that. What his job consisted of was within that 60% of the business. So, like I said, God said, child, this is what I said now. So,
have you ever noticed God's got a weird sense of humor?
So, we said,
I sit here and think he's sitting there saying, ha, 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 you're going to do it. Whether you like it or not. How's it go?
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So, we're full-time homesteaders now. We both work from home.
I said, yeah.
He is going to be, you know, handiwork. He's a good handyman. He does all of our handiwork around here. We don't ever hire anybody. I mean, shoot, we built our house.
Well,
the people that...
it was built
to drywall.
up to where they hung the drywall. You know, had it sanded and everything. From there on, we did everything else. Painted, put the floor down.
Trim.
The trim, watched YouTube.
Yeah. He learned
Figured out how to do the trim.
Yeah.
And
hung our
tiled,
kitchen cabinets,
yeah.
tiled both of our bathrooms.
And of course, this room back here, it was a back porch.
Yeah. See that right there? That window opening? That used to be a window to outside, to our back porch. And we got pregnant with this one. And I said, babe, we're going to need an extra room. We have a 3-bedroom house. But our boy, of course, y'all know, you know, he was in a wheelchair. And what is her room now was a playroom. And I didn't want him to lose his playroom. And we needed the space because, you know, we needed openness for him to be able to get around. So, this one built that room, turned our back porch into a room. All by himself. He had a little bit of help putting some windows in.
Yeah.
And well, you had a little bit of supervision from my grandpa. He can't physically do anything, but
he wanted to.
But he could help with knowledge.
Yeah. And
because he had never hung drywall before. And so yeah. So anyways, so he's doing that kind of stuff. I just sent my registration out. Our state requires you to register. They have what's called the cottage law, which is where you can bake stuff from home and sell it. It's called a home-based processor, but you have to register and pay a yearly fee, and I've done that. And so I'm waiting to get my recognition. You don't have to jump through no hoops or anything like that. You just have to pay your yearly the yearly fee and register. That's it. But anyway, so I'm waiting to, to get that registration back. But bread, I put all kinds of stuff on there. But right now, what I'm doing is bread. All the other stuff is coming. And I've got lots of other ideas of things that I want to be making and selling.
So if you got anything that needs a building and a fixing,
he's your man.
Holla at your boy.
I also do crocheting. Unfortunately, the baked goods, our state does not allow us to ship them, so I won't be able to ship them. I can only sell to local people. But all my crochet items, of course, I can ship. So if you want something done crochet-wise, blankets, baby blankets is my specialty. I love doing baby blankets. Hats, headbands, dish towels, dish rags, and those I use that are bleh. Those I do some that are functional for you to use and some that are just for decorative purposes. And hot pads. And that's all I can think of off the top of my head. But anyways, so that's the first update. I will be posting things as they come about that we're doing. We've both got a lot of things in our mind, ideas that we want to do, stuff we want to make and sell. If you don't follow us on Facebook or Instagram, you totally should. The links to both of those, will be in the description below. And that is where I'll be posting, things that we have for sale and all that good stuff. All right, so that's the first update. The second update is the reason why we didn't film the peppers. Well, reason we didn't film. We've got our bed. We got the rest of the compost in our beds, and we got the rest of our potato bed planted. Got the rest of the compost in it and got it planted. And got our mulch in and all that and everything. So that's done. We still got quite a bit of stuff that we need to do. We still got green beans we got to get in the ground. Cucumbers we got to get in the ground. Tomatoes we got to get in the ground. Just heard this morning from a local meteorologist that growers have the green light to go ahead and plant everything, that the frost and freezes are done till fall. So we can go ahead and get everything in the ground and not have to worry about it. And hopefully, after today, it's chilly today and raining, but after today, we're supposed to be in the 80s.
Tomorrow's supposed to be like 80.
82. 82. 60 something today, 82 tomorrow.
They change it every now and then, a degree or two up or down, but I think by Thursday or Friday
of next week.
It's supposed to be 90 degrees.
Yeah, possibly our first 90 of the year.
Yeah.
But anyways, what I was saying, 60 something today and 82 tomorrow. Welcome to Kentucky. So anyways, get back on track here. What I was saying about the planting all the stuff and everything. The reason that we did not get that filmed was we started filming whichever one it was that we were doing. Compost or mulch when we started filming it. I filmed a little bit that morning. And Mr. Jolly over here, like I said in that video, I'm going to start calling him Mr. Jolly. As y'all see, most of the time, that's the way he is. And that is no act for the camera. He really is this jolly most of the time in real life.
And of course, a lot of you come to our channel through others, such as
Freedom Homestead.
So a lot of you know what's been going on the past few days.
Yeah, if you watched Tangy and Jack's Freedom Homestead, they're live this past Monday night, then you know what we're getting ready to say. But for those of you that didn't or don't follow Freedom Homestead, which you should, their link will be in the description below.
Great people.
Yes. Yes, they are. Anyways, so I started filming that morning. Mr. Jolly over here was not so jolly. And honestly, guys, it's kind of annoying to me when he's not so jolly. Because I'm like, you're in a funky mood. You're putting me in a funky mood. Stop it. So, it was just one of those days. At this point, we had not heard what I'm getting ready to tell y'all. It was just one of those days.
It was I'm sure every homesteader out there has had them days. Like you put everything in to doing this stuff and you're like, is this gonna do anything? Are we gonna, what are we doing?
Yeah, because this is our first year doing the raised beds. We'd always done in-ground garden before, and actually, last year was our first year starting actually getting serious about homesteading. So
Getting served.
what? Anyways, we have learned a whole lot over the past year, taking in a whole lot of knowledge. So, come this year, especially with everything that's going on, we were like, okay, we are going to jump into this. We are going to do a whole lot more than we were doing prior, which we said last year, it was too late for us to get any chicks. That's more of a spring thing, especially meat birds, because you don't want to be out in the scorching hot or the freezing cold butchering your meat birds. Not quite my idea of, yeah. Like she said, you don't want to be doing that. So anyway, so we said, okay, come spring, we're going to get chicks and all that thing. So we already had all this planned out. All that's going on is not necessarily what caused us to do this. We already had it all planned out, what we were going to do. It's just added to ramping it up, I should say. So anyways, so he was it was one of those days that he was kind of like, you know what? We're throwing a whole lot of money at this and not getting nothing in return. Yet. He's not used to farming and having to put a whole lot of money into it and not getting back nothing in return for a period of time.
I've raised gardens.
Yeah.
I've helped raise gardens.
Yeah.
I've got bad memories of gardens. Hauling rocks out of a garden.
But I had that experience of putting a whole lot, well, not my money, but I grew up, the farm that we live on is a 200-acre farm. We used to raise tobacco. We live in Kentucky, you guys. You know, tobacco is our cash crop, or was.
It was a cash crop.
Yeah. Back in my day when I was a kid. That's what we done. We raised tobacco and lots of it. So it wasn't my money that I was putting into it, but I had the experience of watching my grandpa and my dad and put a whole lot of money into something, a crop, and it taking a while to get that money back. So I'm a little bit more, okay, this is what we got to do. We're going to get there, but it's going to take a while. We got to throw some money at it. I'm a little bit more experienced in that. Plus, I don't worry as much as that one does right here. He worries a lot. So anyway, so it was one of those days he was just kind of blah. So, like I said, I filmed a little bit that morning, and then I was like, you know what? This is not going to be a video that I'm going to want to share. Because I could just tell it was going to be one of those days. So, really?
What? You're talking. Really? I was checking Facebook. Sorry. Go ahead. Proceed. See, she can't be mad all the time.
When he's like this, I can't be, no. Anyways, so I was like, you know, today's just gonna be one of those days, so I just put the camera down. Like, you know what? Sorry guys, you're not gonna get this on film. I'll update you after we get it done. But later that day, we got the phone call that his dad, which, elderly, his brother, one of his brothers gave him a call and said, hey, Dad's sick. He was at a lady friend's house. That's where he'd been staying since all this started. Because he just recently, a few months back, had a surgery, and he was having some complications from that and all that good stuff. So he was staying there because she lives in a big city, kind of a big city, and so he,
south of us.
Yeah, so he would be, you know, close to the hospital if he needed, because of his surgery complications, and so he'd have access to food and all that good stuff. So he had been staying there. Well, that morning, his brother, one of his brothers, so your oldest brother, had called their dad just to call, just to see how he was, you know, just to check in on him, because he lives in another state. And he said that he didn't sound good and that he was coughing up blood. So he called the local police department and had them go do basically a welfare check. And they ended up getting an ambulance to take him to the hospital. Of course, you all know the first thing they tested him for, or one of the first things that I assume probably the first thing they tested him for.
Probably the first thing they tested him for.
And a few hours later, no, not even that long. It was not very long.
This thing that's going around.
Yeah, y'all know what we're talking about.
He had it.
Yeah, test came back positive. So he was having trouble breathing. He told them that he did not want to be put on a ventilator. This was a week and a half ago now, on a Sunday. And so a few days later, you know, he's in the ICU, gets put in the ICU. A few days later, or a day or two later, I don't remember exactly the exact timeline, but I assume that the nurse, or one of the nurses, had talked him into finally putting on this mask. It's called a V60. If you look it up, it's a type of ventilator. But it basically, the best way I can explain it is it looks like a CPAP mask. It's a little bit more extensive than the CPAP mask, where it's like a big mask. It goes over your face like this, and it's got a thing up here, and it's a big contraption thing. So anyways, they finally, I guess the nurse finally talked him into wearing that. And for a few days he was doing decently well, we thought. Update wise, you know, of course we can't be there. They won't let you in the hospital. Definitely, even if you, well, I guess they will let you inside the hospital, but you can't go, you cannot go in the room at all. But anyway, so we were calling and getting updates. Shout out to those nurses down there. Of course, nurses are always awesome. You know, I know that from Dakota. But anyways, calling and get updates and all that good stuff. And then this past Sunday, today's Wednesday, this past Sunday he got a message from his oldest brother, which, you know how it is if you have siblings. The oldest of the family is kind of the leader, per se. His oldest brother sent him a text message and said, hey, I just talked to the doctor this morning. We've got to make a decision. Anyway, so he said, I want to do a 5-way phone call because we've got, this is all of our dad and we've got to make a decision. So the update that he had gotten from the doctor that morning was that, of course, he had already said he didn't want to be put on a ventilator, and life support, let me put it that way, a tube down his, because the mask is not as invasive, obviously, as being intubated, which means a tube down your throat.
It's like an oxygen mask on steroids, wouldn't it?
Basically, yeah. That's the best way to explain it.
Well, I put everything like that.
Yeah. So anyways, so they were at the point that he was on so many medications, that he didn't think that he was going to make it. And at this point, if it was his parents or his dad, he would not let them suffer any longer. Anyways, me being the person that asked 540,000 million questions, I've learned that over the years with Dakota, doctors don't, and nurses too, especially doctors, don't always tell you everything. You have to ask questions and get as much info as you can. I'm not knocking on doctors and nurses at all. Trust me, not at all. I'm just saying, sometimes they just ask questions, right? They can't remember to tell you every little detail, or they may not think of telling you something that you have a question about. Anyways, so, he gets off the phone and he's like, here's the decision, here's what we're going to do. And I'm like, hold up. Did you ask blah, 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 blah? He's the opposite of me. He just says, okay, and asks no questions.
That's why I married you, man.
All that good stuff. So anyways, but it's not just a you thing.
But that's not the only why I married her. Come on, y'all.
But that's not just a you thing. It's a man thing. Because my dad does the same exact thing. It's a male trait. They don't ask questions.
We are getting old. I forget.
You can't blame that on getting old. Your memory ain't no better now than it was when you were 20.
No, it's not.
Or any worse, I should say. Okay, so anyways, back to, rabbit hole. Back to what I was saying. So I was like, you gotta ask. You gotta ask. I mean, this is serious stuff. You've got make sure. Be confident in your decision here. Real confident in your decision. So he called the hospital and spoke to the nurse and actually put her on speakerphone so I could talk to her, because me not being family, I couldn't call and talk to her, but with him putting her on speakerphone and given her permission to tell me, you know how all that works.
You are family.
Not blood family, is what I meant. Anyways, so of course I went into my spiel of 540 questions. And two, he wanted me to talk to her because, with Dakota and being in the medical community for so many years with him and everything, I understand medical terms and medication and stuff better than he does. He was kind of he went with me and then was the support and all that and everything, but we decided a long time ago with Dakota that I would handle all the medical stuff because I was home 24/7 with him, and I would handle all that and he'd just be the support. So, years of all that, I learned a whole lot. I understand, you know, when they are talking about saying these big long words, I understand what they are. And if I don't understand what they are, then I ask.
Sorry.
Anyways, so let's just say, long story short, when we got off the phone call with the nurse, I told him, I said, I know that it's not the decision that you want, but it sounds like that it is the best decision, because they were at the point with him that they would ventilate, and he had said, no, I don't want that. And he had told his oldest son many times over the years that he didn't want that. So the decision was made to discontinue the V60 mask. And that happened. Ended up, thankfully, one of his granddaughters and one of his sons went down to the hospital, and they suited them up like they were going into I mean, I didn't see a picture of them, but from the way it was explained,
pretty much, it was just shy. Well, of course, not. It's just a little cloth, whatever suits they wear.
Yeah, them things yeah.
It was
just shy of a hazmat.
The way I think of it, it's like putting on hazmat. Like, I forget what it was. I mean, if there's any military people on here, you know what I'm talking about. Going through boot camp, you had to go through the hazmat thing, and that thing's no fun. Anyway, before we go down another rabbit hole.
Yeah, before we go down another rabbit hole. Anyway, so the decision was made to take all that off. One of his grandkids, she's an adult, grown adult, kids of her own, not a child. One of his grandkids and one of his sons got to be there in the room by his side, and they said that once it was discontinued, that it was very quick and painless. So there's that. That was Sunday night around 8 p.m. So today's Wednesday, and that's why we haven't, so that's a second update, and that's why we haven't filmed anything. Just a whole lot been going on. Just didn't feel like picking up the camera and do anything. But today, that changes. So we're giving this life update.
I know a lot of y'all said take time. You know, a lot of people have said take time to mourn. Take time to mourn. You got to take time to mourn. Well, Dad, he was the kind of person, he told everybody, every one of his kids, don't cry for me. He said, because I'm not crying. He said, where I'm going to be at, he said, I'm not crying. So.
Well, he said he wanted a
celebration. His
funeral to be a celebration, not, for lack of better terms, a cry fest. He wanted it to be a big party, basically, is what he wanted it to be. Unfortunately, in this day and time right now, we cannot have a funeral. There will be a graveside service. But even that's got to be limited. Craziness of this world right now. So, what do we got coming up? We've got, the chicks are still in their brooder. They were 3 weeks old this past Friday. They're still in their brooder.
Gotta get them out.
Yes. They're still in their brooder because it's been cold and rainy, and we were going to put them there Monday, and well, Monday we didn't have time. We didn't do it Fridays because that was the night that we were under a freeze warning. And we were like, okay, well, we'll wait till Sunday. Sunday came and gone. Here we go. Here we go. Sunday was Mother's Day. And guys, I was not dealing with chickens that day. Sorry. I was like, they can stay in there another day. They'll be fine. Monday came, and I'll add that video onto this right here. Good morning. So, busy day today. If you don't follow us on Facebook or Instagram, which you should, links will be in the description below. He doesn't do any of the baking around the house. His idea of cooking is some scrambled eggs and throw some hot dog in it.
Bacon and sausage.
Yeah. That's about the extent of. But don't let him fool you. He can cook. He just hollers that he can't because he don't want to. Anyways, so as I was saying, watch that little dog. That's not what I was saying. I have started selling my baked bread. That is white sandwich bread. Sorry, the road's a little bumpy. But yeah, so I'm selling that. Unfortunately, the state of Kentucky does not allow me to ship it. So unless you're in Kentucky, and unless that you can either come pick it up at our homestead, or meet me, or meet one of us somewhere close to our homestead, in the vicinity of our homestead, I can't sell it to you. Sorry. But I'm working on some other items, non-food items I have in my head that I want to start doing that I can ship. We are headed to drop these 2 loaves of...
Speaking of delivering.
Yeah, speaking of delivering, that's what we're on the way to do right now. To drop these 2 loaves off to someone that has purchased them. Then we got to stop at local hardware store, right?
Yeah.
And pick up a chainsaw. Because, no, we don't have a chainsaw on our homestead. Well, let me rephrase that.
We do.
We do.
It's to the point where it don't want to stay running.
Of course, my dad had a chainsaw, and bumpy road. He bought,
Take 567.
no kidding, this road's a little bumpy. He bought a new one, and so Rob's like, we needed to cut down some cedar posts for a project on the homestead. And so Rob was like, instead of spending the money to go buy one for us, he's like, hey, you got your old chainsaw? And Dad's like, yeah, you can use it. Well, Rob... have it. Okay. So Rob quickly found out why my dad went and bought a new chainsaw. It won't stay running.
I'm gonna try to clean it out. Maybe that'll help, but I'm getting a new one.
Yeah, because let's see, a few days.
That one might turn into a sawmill.
Oh. Because a few days ago, when he got it and was going to use it, he, went out to the edge of the, went out to the woods to cut cedar down. And I bet he was gone for at least an hour, at least, if not longer. It may have been quite a bit longer than that. I didn't pay attention, but he was gone a long time.
The woods ain't that far from our house.
Yeah, but literally almost in our backyard. And he come back home and he come through the door and I could tell something was wrong. And I was like, what's wrong? And he's like, oh, I had to quit before I threw that chainsaw in the creek. It won't stay running. He said, I've been going all this time. He said, I got one tree cut down. One. That was already semi fell down, or was that a different one? Okay. Yeah. So he found one that had blew over storm, you know, had partially blew over, and he was going to get it, and he couldn't even get it. Couldn't keep the chainsaw running long enough. So today we're buying a new chainsaw because we've got to get those cedars cut down for cedar posts for a huge project on the homestead. It has to do with our garden, and we can't get any of the rest of our planting done until we have those posts, and so we've got to get it done. Alright, so we are headed to drop the bread off, and then we gotta stop and get the chainsaw, and then we gotta do another errand, and a real quick one. We'll get back to the house, and today is the day that the meat birds go to their tractor. Yay! Can we all cheer? Woohoo! Yeah.
Got my chicken feed.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's yeah. So, all right, guys. So, been a few hours. We're in a different city now than what we were going to. Why does things never work out the way you plan to? I don't know. But we're doing our last stop, and then we're going to the house. We got a chainsaw, but what I was going to tell y'all real quick, this is hilarious, okay? Our last stop of the day before we head home was to the post office, which is where we're at right now. Where we came from, let me show you. See that parking lot right there? See that car, that SUV pulling in? That's where we were parked, okay? Literally, pretty much in the same spot that vehicle just pulled. Okay? Next door, that's where we were at. It's right there. Okay? Next door is the post office. Instead of walking across this parking lot here to the post office, we drove out onto the road, come around, pulled in down there, and pulled to this parking spot. Yeah, that's what we done. And as soon as Rob parked, I said, you know what? You could have literally walked across the parking lot. He said, yeah, I know, I thought of that after I pulled in here. I was like, he said, I thought, yeah, you dummy, you could have walked. So I had to share that funny with you, and that why does nothing ever go the way you have it planned? Ever. This one back here is getting, that one back there is getting tired of being in her car seat. Thankfully, we're at the last stop. We're getting ready to go home. Yes and amen. But let's just say that Monday did not go as planned.
Does anything go as planned?
No. Very rarely. Alright, so maybe today. If not today, then definitely tomorrow, because tomorrow's supposed to be sunny and 82 degrees. They've got all their feathers, their white feathers.
They lost their little yellow feathers.
Yeah.
Yellow, prickly, pointy, whatever they're called.
Yeah.
Feathers.
They have
Pin feathers.
Yeah, they have their white feathers now. So Yeah, we've got to get their feeder, which that's going to be a video too. The whole thing is going to be a video. So we've got that coming. More garden coming. We've got to get stuff in the ground and show you guys how we're doing trellises for free. Ain't costing us anything to do them.
Flip a chainsaw.
Well, yeah, he had to buy a chainsaw, but that was because we didn't have one. If you already have a chainsaw, it's not going to cost you anything.
If you just gave it away.
Gave what away?
Oh, we're doing it for free. It
You're supposed to start saying something after you do that.
Anyways, we got a lot coming.
I think that's about it. I think that's our life update.
Yeah. Life in a nutshell.
Yep. Thanks.
Eggshell.
Oh, we hope to be getting some. We hope to be getting layer chicks. We've got so much stuff in our heads that, yeah. Anybody want a dog? He's jealous. He's jealous. This one's got to have a haircut. Yeah, you do. All right. Say hi. They're jealous of each other, I tell you what. All right, boys, go on. Go on, get down. Anyway, so I think that, is that it?
What?
Okay.
I think that's it.
Yeah, I think on that note, anybody else have a toddler they can't keep out of dog food? Oh, that's, yeah. Fun times, y'all. All right.
We're end this here.
Huh?
So we'll end this here, right?
Yep. We're going to end this here, guys. Until the next one.